I'm going to tell you what the problem is with the world today. The whole trick of the devil is to divide and conquer. And the way he splits us up now is by controlling our hormones and doing satanic inversions, making men into women and women into sexually frustrated women. The first thing he does is put estrogen everywhere. Second thing is he puts the other chemicals that are good for women, progesterone, all that shit that a woman's body can handle. Estrogen, progesterone, fucking aldosterone, prolactin. And so all these chemicals are out, and all the young girls are coming out, big titties, skinny waist, big ass. And the dudes are coming out like, if they come out at all, first of all, because a lot of these guys are not pleasing the women. First of all, the circumcision ritual. I've read the Apocrypha, I've read the Bible, I've read the Quran, I've read the Jewish scriptures, I've looked in the Hindu scriptures, I've looked in the Buddhist scriptures, I've read every religious scripture I could get my hands on since I was a little kid. I still cannot find an explanation for circumcision. I do understand that something happened with Abraham, and there was part of the penis that was altered. But as far as like doing it to a baby without his choice, and the way they do it and what they do, I can't find any evidence that that is even the real ritual. And I think it's a way of castration, really, because it makes it so that the guys, they like, I don't know, they can't pull out or something. I'm not circumcised. I have no idea, but this is what I heard, is that they're more sensitive. And so a woman can only have a male child if she has the same orgasm before the ejaculate. And so that's why you see all these women now being born to other women, and the amount of women is going up. If you look at the kindergarten class, if you got a friend who has a kid and they're in kindergarten, look at it, it's 80% women. So, listen. Take it from me, I'm a fucking Chad. There is a chemical warfare going on. Me personally, I eat raw onions, raw potatoes. I take maca, horny goat weed. I take black seed oil. Sometimes I binge on gabapentin, which gets rid of the free-floating estrogen. I've done steroids in college. I've done anti-estrogens, anti-prolactin, some of them which have an effect that never wears off for the rest of your life. So I've permanently altered my DNA with horse and cow and synthetic stuff that I don't even know what it is. And that's just what I had to do to be normal, because I was a victim of psychiatry and I had B-cup titties from Risperdal. Look at me now. I'm fucking shredded. And so, anyways, the point is a chemical warfare. And when you go to the grocery store, you see all these baby mamas in booty shorts with rips in them, holding a fucking another little baby that's gonna grow up to do the same thing. And it's like the movie Idiocracy. Like, why do you even have kids? I'm 36 years old. I don't have a kid. I have no plans on ever having a kid. I have a wife. I could impregnate her if I want to. But why would you want to do it? It's just like having a deluxe pet. It's just like owning a deluxe pet. Like, okay. Like, I love cats. Hey, man. I adopted a cat. We took care of it as much as we could, but that shit's fucking annoying as hell. Imagine a kid. And just for what? Just to say you have a kid. Just to say you have a kid. There's really no point. And like, yeah, they're like, oh man, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so sometimes it's the guy's fault. Yeah. But like, okay, fuck this whole abortion thing, first of all. I don't think you should kill babies, but I do have a sneaking suspicion that if it's within a certain range, like if you are accidentally impregnated and you have a couple weeks, this is something that could easily be fixed with herbs. I happen to do herbal medicine, and there are so many herbs that will induce an abortion within the first couple weeks of pregnancy. I can't even begin to list them. I'm on some of them just for the hell of it. But, so like there is things, but it has to do with the devil, because is this circumcision ritual really supposed to be? And then are these chemicals they're putting in the water and the food and everything making it so men can't satisfy women? Because you know that the psychiatrist came out with the dildo machine, and I'm not trying to talk shit. I'm just telling it how it is. The psychiatrist had a dildo machine and a breast pumping machine and penis pumping machine. And this was in the early days of psychiatry, but it's still used, and you can take my word for it, and you can ask many people. If you know someone who's been a victim of the mental health scam, you can, depending on how far they went. If they just went to the mental home once, well, you know, they give you some gas or something at 3 a.m. and you come in and you got someone else's pubes on your genitals. But that ain't really nothing compared to what happens if you get put in the permanent mental home that you can only get out with a lawyer. And I've been in it, Erica's been in it, and we can tell you, you don't have to believe us, but they pumped me for my semen, they pumped her for her breast milk, and they put her on the dildo machine. They put me on it too. And they know that there is an entire, like, whatever they say, 7.5 billion, however many people, there's like an entire world of completely sexually frustrated women. Men who are becoming, 80% of them are simps now. They just send money to girls online and they get mad at girls. They have arguments with them. Oh, you stupid bitch. Shut up. Stop talking in this chat room. But that's not really the way, man. Men and women are different. You know? Are the blind like those who see? And, you know, it's for the better. Like, women are deep thinkers. They're highly intelligent creatures. And they balance some of the stupidity that comes from us men. But that's not the problem. The problem is when you haven't had an orgasm, like I'm talking like me, anyone, the etheric parasites build up in your body. And these become Morgellon fibers, which can become the C word, the CANES word or whatever, with the ER, you know what I'm talking about. And, you know, like if you don't shoot the shoot, you're gonna end up with a lot of demonic parasitical entities. It happens to cats. It happens to everyone. It's just the way. For some reason, the orgasm triggers a release of demonic energy that builds up in your body. Perhaps this is what William Reich was talking about when he created Organite. I don't know. But what I do know is that I'm a total fucking Chad. And when I go out, I have to fight the women off me. I can't even go out to the grocery store with my wife because everyone's checking me out and I could get fucking raped by these women. But I've altered my DNA. I've used horse steroids, cow steroids, steroids that don't even come from animals. Every kind of steroid I could get my hands on. I was on 1/4 of a Boston Lloyd stack. Of course, like, if you look at me now, there's not much to see there, but trust me, I look like a pregnant teenage woman before I did this. And you know, I'm naturally skinny, so it's kind of like pointless, like at a certain point. And I've replaced all that stuff with herbs and vegetables and stuff now, but you know what I mean? Like, this is the problem, because after 2, 3, 4 generations of war, all the good men are dead. The women take over society. Then we got libtards everywhere, and we need another war. And that's the only way that men are going to become men again. And it's unfortunate, but it's just the way of the chaos realm. You know, this life is but a test. There is but one God. So turn to him and repent. Jesus was but a messenger. You call him the Messiah, that's fine. But you call him God, you've crossed the damn line. That's not God. Jesus is not God. God is God. God is the one who made Jesus and made all this stuff and made cow steroids and horse steroids and potatoes and onions and gold chains and being a Chad. And, you know, you don't have to take my word for it. Listen, some people will understand this, other people won't. But just know that the end of times are near. I personally believe Gog and Magog are North Korea and China. Why do I say that? Well, they are sons of Japhet. Gog means Goth. Magog means from Goth. And what we know about them is that they were a godless people who did voodoo. When Alexander the Great went around the world, he went to Hyperborea, he went to America, he sailed through the Isla de Fuego below Peru, came through a passage, went to Korea, and the Koreans were like, yo, the North Koreans and the Chinese are fucking us up. And they built a wall around them. And that is the remnants of the Great Wall of China. After the mud flood liquefaction event, they lied to us with their satanic inversions and say that, fucking, what's that shit called? China, the Great Wall of China, that was to keep the Mongolians out. No, it's to keep the damn Chinese in there. I'm not talking about all Chinese. Uyghurs are beautiful, intelligent people. Tibetans are so smart and so kind. I'm talking about, I think it's called the Hung Chinese. It's a specific group of them that is promoted over all the other Chinese in China. It's like they have their own, form of racism in China, and that's the one that's on top, is the Gogs and Magogs. And if you think about it, who is stupid enough to die for their country in the days of Twitter and the internet? Life is so fun, and we're not as brainwashed as we used to be, and it's just impossible to find people that would actually go to war to take over land and risk dying for their stupid country. Countries don't even really exist. And the Chinese and the North Koreans are the last two people on earth that the devil could really manipulate into doing that. If you think about it, eventually the Russians are going to be like, fuck this, man. They're smart, intelligent people. They don't want to go to war as much as we don't want them going to war. And they'll go to war and fight with China and North Korea until they feel threatened by them. Once they're threatened by them, they're going to be right back on the side of NATO. And who has the biggest army? China. Who has the fourth biggest army? North Korea. Who's the only people stupid enough to die for their country? Brainwashed, atheist, communist. They're brainwashed. Like all of us, we're all brainwashed. Well, I'm just getting used to being not brainwashed. I still brainwashed a little bit, to be quite honest. We're all brainwashed. But how can I put this? Recently there was like a demonstration, I think it was in Australia, and there was people who they showed the Tiananmen massacre, and they were talking about like, China is not that good. And there was a Chinese foreign exchange student who believes in the CCP, and she freaked out and destroyed the whole thing and was screaming and stuff. Like, she went full on Karen for the CCP. And you know what I mean? Like, you find a lot of different groups in the United States, but you'll not really find anyone who's like willing to go. I mean, yes, we'll defend for our country, we'll fight for our freedom, whatever it takes. G.I. Joe is always there. We'll do what it takes for our own country, but I don't think, you'll find many people who would do that in the way that the Chinese would, or the North Koreans. They're cruel, they're godless, they have nothing to live for, they believe in no afterlife, they're totally brainwashed, just like the rest of us, but, I'm not going to judge them for that, but it does sound like they're going to destroy Israel, it does sound like they're going to invade the world, and, that could be Gog and Magog. And think about it, they already spread to all four corners of the earth. Who doesn't have Chinese food? So I leave you with that thought. Peace, blessings, good night.